So we are now going live, all right? So everything is being recorded. All right, there's just so much noise outside, I feel better. Okay, now what I want to do is we're just going to go around the room again and see what you guys remember, all right? So we'll start over here. And I think we have enough time right now to get through the first worksheet. So I don't think it's going to be too troubling, but let's just go over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I decided the first ones are really easy. All right, so we're just going to do all of those. And then who's online? Gray, you're going to do 16. Jensen, you got 17. Anna, you got 18. Who else is there? Is that Eve? Who is that? Eve, how are you? You're on 19. And then Xavier, you got 20. Okay? Now remember, guys, this should be relatively easy. All right? It should be relatively easy just reviewing your information on integers. All right? So if you don't, or you're not understanding something, you can kind of jump in. All right, here we go. So number 1, name the opposite and the absolute value. Now, don't forget absolute value. That's the symbol for absolute value. Okay. Now, also, guys, that's kind of, is that a little better, guys? Yeah. You want? All right, I think that's a little better. Okay, so go ahead. Can you name the opposite of 8? And what's the absolute value of 8? No, no. Absolute value is distance. Distance cannot be negative. So the absolute value of 8 is still what? 8. That is correct. So the answer is -8 and 8. Anybody have any questions? Yes, sir.
I wrote it down.
Okay, here we go. Number 2, go. Yeah, 3 and 3. The opposite of -3 is 3. The absolute value of -3 is 3. All right, number 3. -28. Yep, -28 and 28. I told you this is going to be easy. All right. Yeah, there is no opposite of 0, right? So we got 0 and 0. All right. Number 5. Will.
0.75.
And?
0.75.
Yes. Told you. Easy, easy. All right. Which brings me up here. Sienna. Yes. 4 2/3. 4 2/3. Perfect. Number 7.
5/8 and 5/8.
Yeah, 5/8 and 5/8. Brilliant. Next.
61.4.
So what's the opposite of that?
-61.
Right, exactly. Right, any issues? I didn't think so. Max. Yes, 91.2 and 91.2. Beautiful. All right, Sean. You are exactly correct. It is positive. Yes.
For the test?
I'm not. Stop. No, we're not talking about the test. We're talking about this worksheet. All right, that's it. All right. Here we go. Over here. If W is a positive number, then negative W is a what?
Negative.
Yeah, that's easy. Number 12.
A real number that is its own opposite is
What number?
what number?
Yeah, what number is unique? It's the same as its opposite.
Yeah.
What is it?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, look at the answers. We did. It's one of these numbers also.
So it's just the same number.
So which one is it? Numbers 1 through 9. Which one is the same as its opposite? I don't want you to tell me. 0. There you go. Right? 0. Don't give up on it. All right? 0 is correct. What?
Why would it be negative?
Well, there is no opposite of 0. True?
Oh, the A real number.
Say it again. I can't hear you.
What's an A real number? Can it be like any real number?
Yeah. What real number is the same as its opposite? You with me now, right? All right. 0 is correct. Okay, go. So give me the absolute value of a number that's going to be negative 10. Well, so here's the question. What number goes in here that's going to equal negative 10? So the absolute value of 10 is what? Come on now. No. What's the absolute value of 10? No. No, on all of these up here, think about this. Every time we did the absolute value came out to be what? Positive. Yeah. Yeah, so no, now we're going to look at it. So if yes, the absolute value of 10 is 10. Is there any number, when we take the absolute value, is going to be negative? No. Right? So how many solutions are there? In this one, we would say there are none. No solutions. The absolute value cannot equal a negative. I want everybody to write that down as a note. The absolute value cannot equal a negative. Absolute value cannot equal a negative. So in this case, no solution. That's the symbol. All right. Ms. Cussel, how many solutions are there for C? The absolute value of what is 0? 0. That is correct. There's only one solution for 0. There's no solutions if it's negative. And there's 2 solutions for all others. All right, hopefully that's good. All right, now number 15. Miliana, what do you think? How many solutions are there for the absolute value of D is equal to 8? There are 2 solutions. Thank you very much. All right, 2 solutions, and it could be D could equal 8, or D could equal negative 8. Well, anybody have a question? What? I can't hear you. They're just asking you what numbers can I plug in for D, right? That's it. That's all there is to it. Okay, now my guys at home.
So wouldn't it be negative 11?
Say it loud and proud. I can't hear you.
Negative 11?
Yes, thank you very much. 16 is negative 11. If you're not sure, now's the time to speak up. Yes. 3 plus 8 is what? Come on, guys. Come on, come on, come on. Number 17. Who's up?
Would it be just positive 4?
Yes, it would be positive 4. Because again, you have to do the 17 minus 21 first, and that's negative 4. And then there's a negative out in front. Thank you very much. Now, that required a little bit more thought, right? Anybody have any issues? All right. Eventually, we're going to let you use a calculator, but for now, we're just double checking.
Wait, what was 16?
Say that again?
Wait, can you go back to 16?
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Who's up next?
I am. Is it positive 10?
What? Tell me this, kiddo. What is this right here going to be?
That's positive 3.
Right. So now I want you to write.
Oh, so it's positive 4.
Yes, ma'am. Good job. All right. That's what we're supposed to do right now. You're supposed to be making some corrections. Which one? Oh, I'm so sorry. I'll stay out of the way. Sorry about that. What? then you take the absolute value. That is correct. So this is correct. That is absolute value of -4. Okay, who's next? Xavier, are you up? Who's doing
It's
that?
me. I got -5.
Yes. -5 is correct. Because again, the absolute value of -7 is 7. And then 7 minus 12. Thank you very much. All right, here we go. Number 20. I tried to confuse you a little bit.
I got 4.
Yes, 4 is correct. This right here is not a symbol for absolute value. That is not absolute value. That is just like a parentheses. And we talked about last week, there's all kinds of parentheses. All right? All of those mean the same exact thing. All right, those are all parentheses. Everybody get on that? You may have any questions. All right, so now we get into the annoying part. All right, we have all kinds of fractions. So again, what we're going to go around the room again is starting over here. We just went through 20 problems, right? So it's going to be u plus what?
Right.
You're responsible for the number that you just did plus 20, right? So if you did number 1, you're now doing number 21. Yes, all right. So now what I want to do is I'm going to pause the video for about 5 minutes. Now we're dealing with fractions. It's a little bit harder. So I want everybody to do your number first and then go back and try from the beginning. We're just going to work right through these because I think we have enough time maybe to get it all done so you don't have any homework. All right?
There is not a 40.
All right. That's the plan. All right. Did you guys catch that? Everybody at home? You understand me? Did you guys hear me? All right. Hopefully. All right. So let me, I'm going to pause and we're going to go for 5 minutes. Okay. And then I'm going to
I
get
have a
back on
question.
and we're going to start. I'm recording. Okay. So please listen carefully. All right. Now I'm just going to go ahead and do it. All right. I want to say it properly. Okay. You give yourself a check. You know, you can kind of grade yourself. How much do I remember? How much do I not remember? And then I don't mind answering your questions, but please pay attention. All right, so everybody up on the board now. Absolute value of 2/3 is 2/3. Absolute value of 3/4 is 3/4. So it's just 2/3 minus 3/4. So we need a common denominator. The common denominator is 12. So you should be able to say at this stage of the game, I'm just going to multiply this by 4, and we'll multiply this by 3. Come on, you have to be able to do that. I need help. Girls in the back, you guys all right over there? You understand me, right? Please ask a question, okay? All right, we're going to have fractions all year long, and you're going to be expected to do them without a calculator. So now I end up with 8 minus 9/12. You agree with that? Yes, sir.
You do, you 2 divided by 2 and then 2 divided by 4. Is that possible?
No, no, the answer is
Oh, and there you did it.
-1/12, right? What you're doing is you are reducing them, but what I'm trying to say is we don't reduce the fraction because we have to get a common denominator before we add or subtract, right? Okay, that's number 1 now. All right, anybody have any questions with 1/12? All right, here we go. Let's take a look at 22. Now here, you have to remember that 1 is positive, 1 is negative, so automatically we're going to do what to the 2 decimals? Subtract them. Now, I know the answer is going to be positive or negative. It's definitely negative. So now we're just going to subtract 6.4 and 3.85. Add the 0 up here. All right, now remember, this is a 3. That makes that a 10. That makes up 5. Borrow 5, 13. 13 from, or 8 from 13 is 5. 5 minus 3 is 2. 2.55. So it's negative 2.55. What? It's then you're wrong. Then it's wrong. Okay? Come on now. Now, again, remember what I'm saying. I'm not trying to be dismissive about your telling me about your answer. But if your answer is different than mine, just stop thinking about yours, follow mine, and see where you made your mistake. That's what I'm trying to encourage everybody to do. All right? First, identify if you have to add or subtract. Then you should decide whether or not the answer is positive or negative. All right, and remember, subtraction, put the big number on top, the small number on the bottom. All right, here we go with 23. Now, once again, both fractions are negative. So what do we have to do to these two fractions? Add them or subtract them? Say it again. You add them, that is correct. My final answer is going to be positive or negative? It's definitely going to be negative. All right, so we're adding 3 1/2, 5 4/5. Common denominator is 10. So I have 5/10, and I have what? 8/10. When I add them, you should have said I've got 8 13/10, which is the same as 9 3/10. But don't forget they are what? Negative 9 3/10. Okay, now, come on now. This you got a question on this one, I can understand. I don't want you sitting there. What? What's negative 3 and negative 5? Come on, come on. Come on, guys. Don't worry about the fractions. You should be able to look and say it's positive or negative. All right, my guys at home, how are you guys doing? Everything's okay? Don't be afraid to jump in if you have a question or a concern. All right? Yes, sir.
I thought 2 negatives cancel out and get a positive.
That's for multiplication.
Okay.
Multiply. Negative times a negative is a positive. Good. Now make a note to yourself about that. All right? That's how you're going to keep learning. All right? This is just the basic information, guys. All right? Girls, any questions? All right, please ask, okay? You good? All right, here we go. Let's take a look at 24. First thing I want you to do is I want you to tell me, is the answer going to be positive or negative? It's definitely going to be positive. Do I add them or subtract them? Obviously, don't forget to line up the decimal. 1.9600 decimal. 10.04. 10.04. Now I'm thinking I've just subtracted 2, right? 12 minus 2 is 10, and then I add back 0.04. All right? Now if you want, of course, you can borrow. It's kind of annoying to borrow all the time. Make that a 1, make that a 9, make that a 10. All right? How's everybody doing on that? Good little review on that. Good review on those decimals. All right, here we go. Number 25. Uh-oh, we got issues here. Okay, first thing I want to do is remember, we identify, are we going to add or subtract the fractions? We're going to subtract them. Is the final answer going to be positive or negative? Positive or negative?
Positive.
Now, I don't want you just saying. I want you to tell me. What is it going to be? Tell me. Positive, because the 1 4/5 is bigger than the negative 3/8. William, you good on that now? All right, so I know the answer is going to be positive. This is how I do it, so I don't forget the sign. I automatically put a positive sign as my solution. Now, because the signs are different, I'm automatically going to do what? Subtract. Is everybody with me? All right, so here we go. 1 4/5 minus 3/8. What's common denominator? 40. Thank you very much. 40 multiplying by 8. So that's a 32. Multiplying by what? Good. Thank you. Multiplying by 5. That gives me 15 over 40. Everybody comfortable with that? And now when I subtract, 32 minus 15 is 17/40ths, 1 17/40. Is that a question or a stretch?
Stretch.
Stretch. Good. All right. Tucker, how are we on this one?
Good.
Is that good? Girls in the back, come on. You guys all right with this? Yes, good for you. I like to do that. No, if you're getting the right answer, I don't care. All right? Some people do a little bit differently. I'm just reviewing and making sure I'm showing my work so everybody in here understands. Yes, sir. Say it again. What is a stretch?
That's Connor.
Well, he was like leaning back in his seat. I couldn't tell if he was stretching. I couldn't tell if he was stretching or actually had a question.
I was like,
All right. You with me now?
I'm not. You're making.
All right. Here we go. Thank you. Okay. 26 now. Is my answer going to be positive or negative? Negative. Do I add or subtract? You're adding them. The reason why you add them is because they are both what? They're both negative. So again, I'm going to line the decimals up. And then we're going to add them. And again, I always like to fill in the 0. Sometimes it's helpful. 9, 13, 5, 1. Anybody else get 15.39? Negative 15.39. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. Yes, sir.
So I got 15. I don't know. I give what I confused on like subtraction.
No. It's not that I don't like it. I want you to follow the steps and see how I got it.
I don't know, like, can't you?
No, you're adding those decimals. 0 plus 9, 5 plus 8. That's what I'm saying, Will. That's what I'm going to teach you this year. You're 8th grade, going into high school. I don't want you to do it your way. My way is always the best way. Most of the time, all right? My way or the highway, that's what we used to say. All right? You understand me though, right? Because a lot of times it's just a careless mistake. I'm trying to get you to find your own careless mistake so you don't repeat the mistake in the future. All right? Hopefully you agree. All right? Here we go. Let's knock out 27. Now, fractions. Is the solution going to be positive or negative? So automatically, this is what I used to do on my test. Write down whether the answer was positive or negative so don't forget. Then the next thing I ask myself is, am I adding or am I subtracting here? You're adding, all right? So now, for me, fractions, 4 and 5/6 plus 7 and 8/9. Common denominator here, guys, in unison. That was weak. What is? 18. Thank you. Now, in my opinion, you guys should be getting good enough to say this. Well, because I know the common denominator is 18, you shouldn't have to look at that and say multiply by 3, multiply by 3. You should just say the new numerator is going to be what? 15. What's the new numerator in the other one?
16.
Yeah. 8 times 2 is? 5 times 3 today is?
50.
Brilliant. Now who's got a problem? Right, you good? Now we're just adding 4 plus 7, 15 plus 16. Still not done, right? 18 goes into 31 how many times? Once, which means I have how many whole numbers?
13.
How many whole numbers? 12. With how many left?
13.
14.
What?
13. You just check it.
Okay, thank you, Rivers, for that wrong answer 5 times. Okay. All right. Anybody have any issues with 12 and 13, 18s? How are my homeschoolers doing? Everybody's good at home?
Yeah.
I know you miss hearing me yell at you.
You can still yell at them.
All right, here we go. 28. Now I've got an absolute value. This is pitiful if you missed this one. What's the absolute value of negative 1/2? 1/2. But there's a negative out in front. So it's still what? Negative 1/2. Okay, I'm going to go in slow motion for you, so pay attention. What is the absolute value of negative 1/2? 1/2. There's a negative out in front, so you leave it there. And now, of course, negative 1/2 plus 1/2 today is 0. Yes, 0. Tell them. I know.
What?
I
She
know.
said -1.
He said negative
You
one.
said,
He said
seriously?
negative one. I said
You
zero.
said
He said negative one.
I said-
Trevor, I'm believing the
He said
boys.
negative
The girls are sneaky. I believe the boys. Thank you, Trimble. Thank you, Trimble. Yeah, girls. All right, here we go. Now we got to take care of some absolute value. What's the absolute value of negative 2.4? 2.4. What's the absolute value of 3.1? Now notice I don't change the sign in between. All right. Now am I going to add or subtract those decimals? And the answers are going to be positive or negative? Negative. Come on now. 24 from 31 is what? Don't forget the decimal. Don't forget the decimal. All right, negative 0.7, guys. Come on, that's important information right there.
Wait, Mr. Strauss.
Yes.
Say I didn't know how to just move the decimals. How would I do it?
There's no moving the decimals on adding and subtracting. Only moving the decimals on multiplying and dividing. You hear me?
Yeah.
All right, lining up the decimals for adding and subtracting. Tucker, you good?
Yeah.
Okay, let's knock out 31. All right. Dividing fractions. Change division to what? Multiplication and then do the, yeah, we're not talking about flip. Oh, sorry, we skipped 30. Thank you for the news flash. All right, so now here I try to confuse you by putting a decimal and a fraction, but lucky for us, we know that 0.25 is what fraction? 5 1/4. Thank you. So I have negative 3 1/4 minus 5 1/4. So again, are we going to add or subtract? Add them. We're going to add them because they're both negative. You're going to add them because they're both negative. Is the sign going to be positive or negative? Thank you. So if we add 3 1/4 and 5 1/4, we get negative 8. Now again, I just want you to write down 2/4. All right, I just want you to write down 2/4 because we're adding them. And then of course we're going to reduce the fraction to what? Negative 8 and what? 1/2. I don't even care if you change 3/4 to 0.75. That's perfectly okay to do that as well. What? Tell me.
How and where did you change the 3/4 to?
Oh, I made a mistake. You're right. Thank you. That's a 3, not a 1. You're right. You're right. You're right. Thank you so much. Finally. All right. Connor corrected me.
He was wrong. We had history in this class.
Yeah, don't tell anybody. All right, I'm going to have to rewind the tape on that. All right. So now everybody should be able to tell me that's negative what? 9. Yeah, now here, interesting enough, that's negative 8 4/4, which is the same as what, guys? What?
Right.
Negative 9. Negative 9. All right, guys at home, did you see that now? Sorry about that. We had to make a correction today. All right.
Mr. Strong.
Anybody, listen, anybody having a problem here with this so far? All right, now we're getting into the multiplying and dividing. All right, so back to what I said here. Again, I put the equal sign. Is the answer going to be positive or negative?
Positive. Negative.
Which one?
Negative.
Yes, it's going to be negative because a positive times a negative is a negative. Now, remember, division, what's that word called? Reciprocal. It's not flip. It's a reciprocal. So now we're going to rewrite this as 2/3 times 10 over 9. Now, of course, the negative can stay there if you want. No, it doesn't matter what you thought. That is the answer. All right. Now, from there, can you reduce anything? 3 doesn't go into 10. 2 doesn't go into 9. So your final answer is just negative 20 over 27. Yes, sir. No, you don't divide that way. You're only allowed to divide diagonally.
Oh, we flip it. I didn't.
Yeah, that's right. Or vertically, that is correct. Or you can reduce vertically. Those are your options for reducing. No. If we could have done it at the beginning, I would have done it at the beginning. Come on, Trimble. All right, 32. Now, again, interest. Is that us?
Yeah.
All right, you guys got to finish up. All right. Who was the responsible for my time management
I
here?
really wanted to tell you, but I also.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Tucker, you're a horrible person.
Okay, thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Thank you.